Welcome to my video series titled Meditate to Resolve Suffering. This is a series I'm going to create to deal with suffering through meditation that it comes from understanding how to meditate. Meditation is a mental process, a discipline, a focus on issues or something to be resolved, to be enlightened, to know better. Those are just characteristics of what meditation offers. But what I'm going to do is going to deal with suffering, like addictions, suffering. An addiction to a person is suffering. And how do you resolve it? How do you deal with it? What are the techniques and methods that you can use to help you overcome it? Because all it is very simple. It's you. It's your spirit, your body, and your mind in a loop form of destruction. It's destroying time. It's destroying your spirit, destroying your body, and it's destroying love. The love of a relationship between being alive, to being with family even. I don't care how diverse, if they're family that doesn't destroy you. I have a few relatives of that. And destroy you from God, the Creator Almighty, involved. Addiction is a spiritual issue with time that limits your ability to develop yourself. You. Now, I'll get into that. What is a you? What do you want to do? How do you want to change? So you need to change. What do you need to change? These are questions you should think about. But I can assure you, meditate to resolve suffering is a method process. It is for you to ask questions. It's used to bring clarity. It's for you to be dynamic. It is to bring strength to you, to project, to really understand what your power, your strength is. And you can draw strength from others around you. Just think about it. You have a mental image process, and then your heart. Where do you think emotions come from? In a sense, we are emotionally compassionate for someone else. It's your heart. You know, you love. The word love always goes to the heart. It's an indication, but how do you develop that? Where, if you want to say compulsion, sexual stuff, it is an appetite. It is a chemical drive that if you don't direct appropriately, hurts you. It hurts others. It destroys reality of love that you create. Humans create their emotional, physical reality. Animals live in their reality, their genetics, their surroundings. We create social order. Animals live within the biological order they're given to. Now, understanding order is a key element to this whole process. If you don't understand order, how can you even develop it? Because that's what you want. It's inherent in us. We have to have a social order where we decay into chaos, or you separate yourselves. Your egos go over rot, and you become very narcissistic, very self-centered. You don't see anyone. You don't care about hurting on. You have no limits your feeling to enjoy life as a human. Understanding addiction through creates suffering, and how meditate can resolve it. That's the key element to this whole approach. Now, let's go into the words. You have to have clear definition. My goal, I'll say right now, is to be as accurate as possible within the words I'm using. And you have to do something for me. You have to look up the definitions of these words and be clear, and then what a definition is, and then how am I using that definition to achieve what I'm stating. Now, this video series is not just an intellectual, oh, I'll give you a new thought or make you feel good. This is about doing something physical. It is hard work. It is actually discomforting. You have a level of discomfort to learn to meditate that you haven't experienced. It'll drive you out. It can drive your skin tingling, in fact, once you start, but it calms down. That's resistance to reality that exists in order. You have to realize there's an order to life, to God, and that's the key element there. And how do we really live within it? So addiction is just not your compulsive behavior to repeat the same activity order. Now, the whole idea of addiction. Now, I'm going to cover two aspects of that on a continuum. One part of the addiction is totally mental. That's like computer. It's like watching pornography on your computer or this and that. It's total compulsive there. But then you have the other end of the spectrum over here is drugs. Why do you take drugs, alcohol, and how do you recover from that? Especially when you start dealing with chemicals that alters you. When you deal with the mental side, it alters your brain, therefore alters your chemicals. So it's you have to do something about it. But when you use chemicals, outside chemicals, it alters your state. You're going from the inside out to your mental. And the damage that does to the body, that inhibits, like alcohol. Alcohol characteristics and what the effects are on the body really fascinates me. It really, when I understood the level. Now, what this whole program will do is introduce you to a lot of new concepts. Because I deal with three things all the time. That first is mental. What is mental? What does it do? How does it work? How do you change? How do you can't change? What that was basically was that's your head. You might just say what your head's doing. And I literally mean that. Because the head affects the body. That's why we have a spine between the connection between the body and the head. There's a spine. And then what goes between those 2 points is energy. Directional communication to your brain, to yourself. Yourself is in a mental state, but it's linked to the body. Now, the body. Now, when we get into the body, here's a simple fact there. I got 3 points of view. There's a physical point of view and an energy point of view on the body. How healthy is the body? To do what? Produce energy. How well you use your energy and direct it determines your emotional state. And then the third point is I'm going to use 3 words: breath, spirit, breath and spirit. What are the difference between two? And here's a little fact. This is approach, because I'm going to approach everything from these 3 points of view. The way you breathe is a reflection of your emotional, physical reality in the moment. When you're angry, you'll breathe one way. When you're happy, you'll breathe another. When you're depressed, you'll breathe another way. When you're just watching a sports game or something, or watching a soap opera. Now, one of the things I have to put in here at this point, because I'm going to repeat this. There is a male point of view for dealing with addiction, and there's female way of doing addiction. When it comes to certain types of addictions, the resolving, how do you resolve it, has to be approached from a male point of view or from a female point of view. But that's one thing, when you females watch this film, watch this video, and I'm doing, it's basically starting off from a male point of view and adjusting to female point of view. The males are not just opposite, only halfway there. But in true characteristic, they're distinctive characteristic nature that I cannot relate to a certain point. I can relate to a certain point of observation, and like women can relate to male to a certain point, but then it's a gap. It's just oblivious. It's okay. And why do you need to go further? Involved. Now, I will get in male and female relationship later on, and why do you need it? Why do you have to have it? What's the advantage to you to be in a relationship with the opposite sex, both male and female? Now, I really, on addiction, chemical addiction and stuff, I really feel for everyone in that state. I've seen it, the damage it does, the limitation it does, how people, why males even do it. Now, why females get into alcohol and become addicted to it, that's another story. It's totally, to a certain point I understand, but there's another psychological, emotional, physical state that happens when females get drunk and what they want under alcohol. So really understanding the range I'm going to be covering on this video series. This is the introduction. I'm just trying to give a small, this literally is a small interview of what I'm covering. So give me some time to refine what I'm saying in order for you to, how can I say, focus on it to help you resolve suffering that you have in addiction through meditation process. Now, the two words, before I leave, you have to understand and get the definition, actually all the words. You have to understand what is meditate. It's a verb, therefore it's action. Now, meditation is the noun to this verb, and meditation is a way of thinking about things. When you learn meditation, you're learning it for a purpose. You have the mental side, this is the goal, we're going to do this to do this. And then the meditate is the actual physical act of executing to create that state within the terms or range of understanding the meditation process. Another way I can put it this way, how many prayers do you know, but you only pray one? Prayers are nouns, praying is a verb. So you select one of those prayers and you physically focus on it. You're meditating, use your mind, discipline, physical shaping, voice, your spirit, your breath, all to create, and that every prayer has a divine or has a way of creating a state, a relation state. That's its goal. How well you do it, that's another story. But this is the whole process. And why do you want to pray? Anyway, to have a relationship with outside yourself forces or whatever. And I will get into other religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism involved, and even the Muslim religion involved for clarity. Because when you meditate, you have to understand what are your goals is. And people meditate in a lot of different ways. Meditate to solve a problem, that's math. When you're doing a real math formula, you're meditating on that thing you're thinking about. It's a total focus on that. That's physical. That's secular. I will go on to two extremes on meditate to meditate on. One is secular and one is divine. When you get into divine personality, that's a whole other realm that we'll discuss. I will go through for you to investigate, to develop, that you choose to develop. But the underlying goal of this whole program is to meditate to resolve. And the word resolve, please research the word resolve. What does it mean to resolve something? And think of it as a spectrum on there. From totally nothing to totally, if you want to say the opposite, I have to do something. Now, when it comes to addiction and family and support, that's all nice, but it still comes back to you. You're the individual, you're the spiritual being, your name, your sense of self, and your sense of self, unless you're schizophrenic. Then you have delusionary grandeur of no self, no physical connection. You know, when I was learning, they said, when a schizophrenic knows was getting well, is that when they got sick, they realized their physical body, because a true schizophrenic doesn't have a sense of body, they have the illusions. There's one guy who thought he was Napoleon, and he had no sense of his physical being. So really understand these terms, and I'm going to be using in context. I'm an old man, all you young people, Z generation, all those hypotheticals, your sense of language and my sense of language is a little different. So we got to have common knowledge of the words I use. So go to Google, type in meditation, then type in meditating, type in resolve, and type in suffering. These those basic aspects, and I'll give you a lot more, because you got to know the general definition, then how am I using it? And when you get into meditating, to meditate on stuff, you got secular and you got religious context. Understand about that focus, mental focus, because it's work, it's physical, it's dynamic. It is the altering of one's state of being in a meditative state. Now, purpose and goal, how do you direct it? That's it. And I will give you definitions and functions that no one else I have found that does. So please review what I say, check out. And the next video I'm going to do is I'm going into the word breath and spirit, and how you have to develop your breath to enhance your spirit. Then we're going to go into how you direct your spirit breath energy. That's it. The word is, that's right. Let me get my correct, expend myself. I'm going to use the word breath, spirit, and energy. Those are three words that, think of it as a trilogy. In a sense, you need to understand all three and how they work together, because there's no single word that encompasses the three in context of what I want to do. So appreciate language. The greatest strength to know things is language. The greatest limitation to know something is language. So it's like how well you know words. Put context of value, emotional value to those words will emphasize the direction of your thoughts and your being in life. So you have a very good evening, afternoon, whatever. But think about what I say and look forward for my next video on the spirit, on these three words. That's breath, spirit, and energy. You have to understand that for meditation to be as dynamic as it could be for time spent. Value your time. You never get younger. You only get older in life. And I'm an old man. And what I'm doing is bring forth all the things that I've had to, how do I say, adapt to, learn, or whatever, to survive to this right old age. And that's the whole program. I want to not just give back. It's not giving back to anything. Expressing to save time for you people that want to really deal with suffering, especially from an addictive point of view. It is horrible to be addictive, but it is an energy problem as well as a mental and a physical. And appreciate the difference in how you can alter that state is the name of the game. It's a game in one way for yourself. How do you realize your life is how you suffer with the situation you're in? I don't care if you're rich, I don't care if you're poor. I've seen rich people, been around rich people, I've been around very brilliant people. My favorite school is Caltech. Oh, do I love Caltech. Those people there, I've learned a lot there involved on what it means to be intelligent. It's not knowledge alone. That's that place. Whew. But to appreciate variety of life, variety of other people, to have lower, if you want to say, fear and hate, and have a much more jubilant heart in life and expression. It's fun. It's not fun. There's a joy that you want to live. And everything around us today is depressive. That is the challenge that you have. Not be of the world, but be in the world, but separate enough where you can see the joy of life and who you are. Because everyone has a distinctive spirit. The complexity there, I will delve in slightly. I mean, you exist is a miracle of complexity, of odds. Remember, male or female, doesn't matter, but it's just absolutely unbelievable. So I'll look forward to my next video, please. Look up those definitions, like even spirit involved. But yeah, I will talk more. I got to limit myself. That's my problem. Once I get started, it's really hard to stop at times because I can see more. Have a good afternoon and enjoy. Enjoy the fact that you watched your breathing and your surroundings and on. I don't care if you're in jail, you're in prison in Russia or China or whatever, or in a rest home. If you want to stay, if you're old and you're in a rest home, enjoy the fact that you breathe. That's the key element. You can breathe. Once you get started harder to breathe, your enjoyment goes down tremendously when you can't breathe. Have a good afternoon.